was news a few weeks ago when
I'm not sticking a boy
Starfield
spoon in my mouth. I only eat soup with fork now because fork is lady.
Hello, good morning, BBs.
Oh, good morning. It's too early.
It sure is.
Welcome to the first, best, and only morning show in existence. I'm Anthony Carboni.
And I'm Saige Ryan.
And oh, my stars and garters. What's up, Unity lovers? I was at a party this weekend, a video game celebration, as it were. And let me tell you something. There's no better greeting right now at a video game developer party than to just walk up to a group of people and say, "What's up, Unity lovers?"
And then you get brutally attacked.
No, everybody is like, "Yeah, right?" Everybody's like, "Yeah, right?"
We do have Unity stuff to talk about. We are going to get into it. We will get into updates on the actual story. But hello.
Folks, we love Unity.
Hey, they've never done anything wrong.
Folks, they never have, they never will.
Everything's all good. But good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. Happy start to a new week. And good morning, Alex.
Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, everyone. How y'all doing?
For those who haven't joined us recently, Alex is running tech in the booth, helping us with things like making sure we don't say the wrong stuff. I've been loving getting fact checked. Ooh,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that a kink?
Anthony, please be a professional.
I am being a professional. And we don't professionally kink shame.
I love it. I think that it's great. I love not being wrong and then going, man, I hope that was all right. The amount of frequency where I'm like, I'm saying something with 96% assuredness on the show is most of the time.
Let me tell you something. 96% is great. I'll go anything over, I'd say 65. I'll just say as a fact.
Okay, yeah, I know that about you.
Yeah, listen. If I say something with and I'm over 65% sure, we're just gonna say it's fact. Because listen, what do we got? Time to be right. Time to look things up. Time to be fair to people.
Well, now we do.
Ugh.
You're welcome.
That's the joys of having an Alex.
I love everything about having Alex here, except being fact
right?
checked.
Except being factual.
Yeah, why be factual? Why start now?
Hey, I mean, as people who do news, that's kind of the MO.
We're the first and only people to ever do news, so who knows?
So
We're
we
making
kinda
it up
set
as
the
we
tone.
go. Yeah.
We kind of set the tone for news doesn't have to be factual.
Yeah.
And it would appear there are some other people following suit.
This just in, Sonic the Hedgehog kissed your mom.
This just in.
I
She
just
was
checked,
into
and that is accurate.
That is accurate.
There we go.
See?
Now you kind of like it.
Well,
See?
because
Gives
now
you a
I think
little
what's going on is
credibility.
Alex is putting the 65% into effect over at their desk, and I think that's good. As long as we're all on the 65% train, I think we're good to go.
You can't start corrupting the rest of the crew, Anthony.
This just in, Rouge the Bat was there.
Yeah, I just checked, and that's accurate.
This just in, Sonic and your mom just cucked your dad.
Jesus.
Sources do not confirm.
Okay,
all
I'm
right.
taking it too far.
That's okay. I felt about 63 on that one.
Yeah, it was coming in a little under.
It
We
was
could feel
coming
it.
a little,
We could
yeah,
feel it.
that's fair.
We're also slowly scooting closer to the cameras.
Yeah.
I have this idea of slowly just getting a little closer to you each week.
I have this idea of just coming through your television Ju-on style.
Yeah, go full ring.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I'm
Yeah.
looking to do The Grudge or The Ring at you.
Yeah,
within
yeah.
the next, I'd say 2 weeks, so look out for that.
Yeah. Did you see the trailer for the new Exorcist?
Yeah, can you believe they're doing it?
They're doing a new Exorcist. This
Yeah.
isn't part of the Run of Show today, but whoa,
Sure.
that trailer's kind of wild.
It is wild. I mean, The Exorcist, when it first came out, was wild.
I know, but like, that's a very hard thing to recapture.
Mm-hmm.
Like, The Exorcist is so iconic to horror that, like, it's very bold to do a new Exorcist.
Yeah. I think the thing that was most, I mean, one of the reasons it was most iconic is just that, like, they would go places that a movie was not willing to go in horror at
Yeah.
that point. And so is it hard to do that? Kind of, but it's mostly just a matter of, like, we've pushed horror so far. It's like,
Yeah.
where can you go now that isn't just genuinely like, I don't know.
I know. It's difficult. And it's weird because like my tolerance for horror movies has changed vastly since I was younger. I was a huge horror movie buff as a teenager.
But you can't do body horror anymore.
I can't do gore.
Yeah.
It's a lot of gore, which like overlaps into body horror, but like not all body horror is super gory.
No.
Hello again, Dagger.
Here's the problem with moving up close to the camera.
Yeah, we probably can't see the boy.
You can't see the boy anymore.
You need to be back here.
What we need to do is we need to give the boy, like they give Tom Cruise or Sylvester Stallone.
An apple box?
Yeah, but have you ever seen where they make the path of apple boxes for them?
Yeah.
Where it's like an entire soundstage and like Tom Cruise is walking next to Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
And they have to do like basically just a long walkway for the boy.
We have to protect your dog's fragile male ego.
That's right. That's right. But also we want those easy dog dollars.
Easy dog dollars.
That's what they call it on Twitch when you have a puppy. You get those easy dog dollars.
We could get a dagger cam.
We could get a dagger cam.
We've talked about it.
We've talked about it, and I mean, we're so unsure, and we don't know how sure you are, and we can't know if you're sure unless we fill up this month's goal. It's like we have no way of knowing.
How can we possibly know?
I know that there's a chat, and you can communicate it to us right now, and we can read it live.
That doesn't really, I mean, you can say anything.
I live in late stage capitalism, and that's all I understand.
You could say anything in a chat. You can't give any money to anything.
No, you can't just give money
things
away.
That are important
In this economy.
Only thing. Anyways, I went and saw Talk to Me last night.
Oh, how was that?
Fantastic. I enjoyed it very, very much. I had to drive 30 minutes outside of where we are in LA to catch a showing of it.
Okay.
Because it's on that like tail end of theaters. However, what was very strange about it, we get into the theater and there's like no one in there but one family in the top back corner of the theater. And it is 2 parents and 3 children.
All right.
2 toddlers and an infant, Anthony.
Sure.
2 toddlers and an infant. My favorite CBS daytime comedy.
Right.
But I'm talking babies. And it's like, okay, there's like some people that will argue for like an infant isn't gonna know.
Yeah, an infant doesn't know.
Will likely cry though. Loud, sudden noises, horror movie.
Yes. But I mean, here's the thing. When you walked into that theater, you ruined that family's night. Here's the
Other
thing.
people showed up. It was like a full theater.
Oh, it was a full theater.
It
Okay.
wasn't yet at that point.
All right.
We were like the second people there.
Because I was going to say maybe they were employing the good parent strategy.
Yeah.
Of, this movie's almost out of theaters. Everyone's seen it. We'll go to a late showing on an off night when nobody will be there. And
no, it was
we
a
can watch
Sunday
the
night.
movie.
It was a full theater.
Okay.
Full theater in the like suburbs outside of Los Angeles. And I was so confused because also the other 2 kids are old enough that it's like, oh, you're going to recognize what's going on screen. And like, Talk to Me is pretty brutal.
Yeah.
It's an A24 horror movie. It's, you know, was picked up for distribution by A24 and it plays like an A24 horror movie. It's fun. It's original. I love it. It's already picked up for a second movie. The movie opens and there is quickly a pretty scary scene. I'm not going to give any spoilers on this movie.
There's a large goat.
Terrifying.
It's the biggest goat you've ever seen.
Spooky.
It's got those weird goat eyes. That's not good.
And it's like a graphic violence scene.
Yeah. Against a goat?
Not against a goat.
Okay.
By a goat.
Buy a goat.
Better.
Buy goats for goats?
Yeah.
Whoa.
All goat entertainment.
This
I
movie
can't believe
is...
they made Goat Simulator a movie.
Yeah, this
Hot
movie
single goats in your area.
This movie's very different than I thought it was going to be.
Anyways, immediately I watched these 2 parents gather their children and get up and go.
What did you think was gonna happen?
So here's my theory. I think they went into the wrong theater.
Yeah, that tracks.
Now, all the trailers were for other horror movies.
And that probably raised them like, oh,
And there
that's
were
a little weird.
0 other children in the theater, which
Sure.
I would have also thought would have been probably a second flag for them.
Let me tell you something about parents with young kids. It takes every cycle of brain power
bet.
just to be like, where are the children?
Yeah.
And what are the children doing?
100%. I get that absolutely, especially you're taking 3 kids to the movies.
And have you ever seen kids, like parents dealing with
I've never
kids
seen
during?
kids.
You should. It's a great movie. It's Ahsoka Tano's in it. You should. But when parents are talking to their kids during trailers or trailers are happening, 9 times out of 10, it's like the last minutes where the parents are like, okay, does everybody have anything? Have you gone to the bathroom? Does everybody have no, don't touch each other. No. And so like they probably didn't even notice literally until that one goat hit the other goat in the face with a hammer.
Yeah.
Spoilers for the movie Talk
Sorry,
to Me.
spoilers for the movie Talk to Me accurately. Yeah, all of a sudden the act of violence happens and I just hear them start going like talking.
Yeah.
And I was like, the fuck, who's talking so loud? And I'm like, oh, it's the person with the children. They've just realized they were in the horror movie. My theory is that they were trying to see Paw Patrol, and I think that's the funniest thing on the planet.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was trying to think of what's in theaters right now.
Ninja Turtles or Paw Patrol.
And Ninja Turtles on VOD, so ain't no parents going to Ninja Turtles in the theaters right now.
You're so right.
Ninja Turtles is on VOD. If you can watch it at home, you're gonna.
With 3 kids?
You're gonna.
You're gonna.
It's not
Especially
like-
when one's an infant?
Yeah, no, 2 toddlers don't just look at you and go, Mother, I require the cinema experience for this film. And you're just like, no kid of mine's growing up to be a TikTok movie critic. You're gonna watch it here at home.
But mother, please.
You can't even
think of my letterbox.
No, I can't think of you. Listen, you can't even promote Struck Work right now, Timmy. You know that. That's bad of you. I'm sorry, mother.
I will say,
I simply love the cinema.
A24 does have a specific deal with the guilds and the unions right now.
They do.
So,
They do have. They're one of the couple of studios that has the exception because they already have agreed to all the terms.
yeah. So.
But and I don't want to get too into this because this is a whole thing too.
Okay.
But I'm one of those people where I'm like, yes, any studio that agrees to the terms should absolutely get these exceptions. But there are some productions, like one-off productions for studios that are getting exceptions. And it's like things that are going to wind up with like Amazon distribution and stuff like that. Like the companies that are doing the worst right now.
Interesting.
And it's mostly because these people have like a famous actor.
Right.
And they want the exception to make a movie with this famous actor right now while this actor can't do anything else.
Yeah.
Or this actor was going to produce this movie and this actor's like, well, if we agree to everything the union does, I'll write my union a letter.
Right.
And then we can get an exception. And it all feels very much like, how out of our way do we go before we're not really striking anymore?
We all saw Kim Kardashian shooting for American Horror Story. Now, that was before the actors' strike, but after the writers' strike had kicked in. However, I also saw the trailer for that for the first time. Usually when a celebrity, like a big celebrity, and outside of being an actor celebrity, is on film, television, they do their hair and makeup to make them look a little different. Lady Gaga was on American Horror Story. They made her look different. Kim Kardashian, straight up full Kim K glam.
No.
Full Kim K hair and makeup. Looks literally just like American Horror Story featuring Kim Kardashian.
I have a feeling there are 2 things going on there. Number one, unlike Lady Gaga, who is a triple threat, really.
Yes.
A classically trained at everything sort of thing. Kim is
a threat.
She's a threat. She's a threat. Mostly a legal one if you cross her. But also, I think, number one, you're hiring her to be Kim Kardashian. That character is going to be a Kim Kardashian type of character. Even if it's not like influencer or famous for being famous or whatever.
I don't know, man.
It's going to look and feel like Kim in some way. And also, I think that the Kardashians, when they are on something like that, it's also part of their contract. It's like, no, I have final approval over my look.
Yeah, I have my own Glam Squad.
Yeah, I'm not here to be legitimate actor Kim Kardashian. I'm here to be star of a television show Kim Kardashian.
And honestly, sure. Get it, girl.
I did not know that Cara Delevingne is in this upcoming season of American Horror Story. And I am fascinated by Cara Delevingne in everything.
I'm not fascinated by Cara Delevingne in anything she actually performs in, but I am fascinated by
just her
being messy and weird with celebrities.
Yeah, her vibe, her strangeness.
Who is the celebrity? Was it Megan Thee Stallion? That she had like that weird, like obsessive relationship with.
I believe
and there
it
was just like endless videos of her like simping and Megan being like, okay, pat.
Yeah.
Thanks,
and,
buddy.
And there was like a montage of her just being like, was that Megan Thee Stallion?
Yeah.
Was that Megan Thee Stallion?
Yeah.
At like all these different red carpets.
Like essentially trying to climb on stage with her.
Yeah.
Am I correct on that, Alex?
But
Thank
also, I'm fascinated by her choices as an actor.
Yeah.
Both what she has chosen to be in and how she chooses to play her roles.
You don't think Suicide Squad was like really dope of her?
You know, I think once again,
You think it was an appropriate character for her to play?
I think it was wildly interesting. Because sometimes she's one of those people where it's like, I don't know if I like you as an actor or a performer, but occasionally you're in something and you're the best part of that thing.
Fascinating.
You know?
Name one.
Unfortunately, Valyrian.
Oh.
Like, which I was really looking forward to
I didn't
Valyrian.
see it, yeah.
Look, Valyrian's not good, but I own it on Blu-ray. It's
Yeah,
fine. I was a big fan of the Valyrian comics,
Uh-huh.
so Valyrian came out, and she's actually the best part. Like,
Wow.
she acts circles around everybody in Valyrian, and I'm just
Okay.
like, how is this possible?
Skywalker says she had a good role in Only Murders in the Building.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. She was in one of the John Green movies. She did Paper Towns. I
Sure.
wanna say.
Yeah. There's kids, and they're sick, and they can't be in love.
Now listen,
is that all of the John
I am
Green?
the John Green generation.
Yeah. Aren't most of his books that?
No, that's just The Fault in Our Stars.
Okay.
That's just the one.
What about the Turtles and how they are all going all the way down? What's that one about?
Turtles All the Way Down does not have an adaptation yet,
Okay.
but I actually haven't read Turtles All the Way Down. That came out in, I want to say like 2019, 2020.
Are there children who can't be in love?
I don't think so.
Are there children who can't be in love in Paper Towns?
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of.
Okay.
Yeah. Looking for Alaska. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Children who can't be in love, they're just not all sick.
Yeah. No.
Turtles was
But they are.
2017.
But
no
they are
way.
all sick.
God, it feels like it was so much more recent. Okay, well, hey, we were talking about struck work.
Yeah.
Let's continue that conversation and let's talk about Drew Barrymore.
Oh my goodness. America's sweetheart, Drusif Barrymore. If you're unfamiliar with what's been going on with Drew Barrymore,
Because we haven't covered it yet, so you probably are.
you probably
We're your only
don't know
news.
what's going on because we're the only source of news there is. Drew Barrymore said, hey, I'm going to bring back the Drew Barrymore show, even though there's a Writers Guild strike. And don't worry, we're going to be in compliance because we're not talking about struck work. And everybody said,
You are struck work.
you are struck work, though, because you have writers not talking about, but she kept using, we're in compliance with not talking. And it was such a slimy way to say things. And she was like, I take ownership of this decision. And it's like, nobody cares. Nobody cares that you're taking ownership of this decision.
Yeah, we were already holding you personally accountable for it.
Nobody cares if
Nobody
you're like,
thought you were being forced to.
I will take the fall for this. Okay, Drew Barrymore, we don't care.
Okay, then fall.
Yeah, and fall she did.
She made a video responding to it where she came on in like one of those like I'm a celebrity and I don't film myself often kind of poor video angles, sitting down at my kitchen
Coached.
table,
All
no
that
makeup,
stuff is coached.
hella coached, being like I take responsibility. I need to bring my staff back. All of these things, and you know, there's a lot of conversation around this before we
Yeah.
get to what's happening next. There were people who were like, well, in the last writer's strike, I think it was Conan, I want to say, who had like brought his staff back so that they didn't get fired, essentially. They didn't get laid off
Yes.
because of it. However, the policies around struck work and around the way that this strike works and the way we're striking is different this time.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of people that initially came out and were like, hey, are we not holding her to the same standards? For clarity, the terms are different now to deal with unions.
And the other thing is, if I remember correctly, when they did that during the strike, this was during a writer's strike and not an actor's strike. So actors were still allowed to come on and talk about actory things. And also they made a big deal about the fact that the strike was happening. And they made a huge, because it's Conan, they made a huge meta joke of the whole thing. And also they just ad-libbed and vamped. And listen,
Yeah.
it still wasn't great, but at the time it was like, this is how I make sure camera people, PAs, pages, all these people get paid.
Yeah.
Now, currently, all of the Jimmys and Jameses that host late night shows are basically their shows are down.
Yes.
And they are paying out of pocket because they're bajillionaires.
Correct.
They're bajillionaires.
That's
Drew
the
Barrymore,
thing.
you're a bajillionaire. You have had money since you were 6 years old.
Yep. And was born into money.
And you were born into money. You could simply pay these people. So the fact that she pulled the I'm in compliance and I want to make sure everybody's working, it was like, well, one of those is a lie.
Yeah.
And the other one is just a slimy way of not being as generous as the other people are being right now.
Yeah.
And doing a weird thing that just says, I just want to make my show.
Yeah.
Which is basically all it was, is I want to make my show right now. And
Yeah.
I want to get my money for making my show right now.
Aw.
And so
Oh,
she said,
no.
I'm not making more millions.
Oh my God. I didn't know. I'm sorry, Drew.
How are people going to know that I'm relatable unless I tell them
I'm
on
sorry,
national
Drew.
television?
You should probably make that show again. No, shut up.
No, shut up.
Just keep paying people. All of these corporations behind these shows have literally essentially endless amounts of money in the eyes of what this costs. And also, hey then, networks. If you're tired of paying people for not working, pay them for working.
Yeah, just fix this. Pay them properly and everything goes
Sign
back
the
to
deal.
normal. So Drew Barrymore was saying all of these things, and basically everyone called her out on it. Like the list of people that were commenting on her stuff and were just being like, absolutely not. This is garbage.
100%.
Some people speaking the Drew Barrymore LA toxic kindness, we love you, sweetie language.
Yeah.
And some people just being like straight up fuck you.
Right.
She finally walked everything back, posted a video after removing her original "We're coming back" and her apology and leaving it gone for a few days, which did not do well for her. Came back and said, yo, I'm sorry. I've heard what everybody's saying. I apologize.
Here's her official statement. She says, I have listened to everyone and I am making the decision to pause the show's premiere until the strike is over. I have no words to express my deepest apologies to anyone that I have hurt and of course to our incredible team who works on the show and has made what it is today. We really tried to find our way forward and I truly hope for a resolution for the entire industry very soon.
Cool. That's great. Good. We love to shame famous people into making the right decision.
Yep.
Bill Maher is currently doing the same thing, and obviously no one's going to talk Bill Maher down from that hill.
No.
Bill Maher can't hear anybody but Bill Maher from the Bill Maher hill. So.
Well, it's like, here's the difference, is people are like, hey, Drew, we thought you were a good person. We really liked you, and now you're being a bad person. And she's like, shit, I don't want people to think I'm a bad person.
Oh, shit, my brand.
Right. And Bill Maher were like, hey, you're a bad person doing a bad person
And
thing.
he's like, get fucked, libs.
Right. And then he's like, and
what?
what's new?
You cry me a river, will you bleeding heart liberals? I love your tears. So whatever. So Drew Barrymore walked that back, and we think that is a good decision because it is. And we have to. I love that everybody is still holding feet to the fire. There are ways to make sure that the people that need to be paid right now can be paid. There are a lot of charitable organizations and charitable events that are going on right now.
Yeah.
That are making sure that people can get by while still striking. And not just writers and actors, but also people who are on production teams that could use the money right now. There are a lot of events, even in LA, like LA, we're a production town. There's a lot of actually city government relief right now if you live in LA and you are somebody who is being affected by struck work. Because, listen, as shitty as the entire United States are, at least LA is pretty comparatively strong on labor and comparatively strong on having a social net for its citizens.
Yeah, the bar's low.
The bar is low.
The bar's very low.
We are crossing it rather than limboing under the lowest bar, but
A couple people in chat have brought up that John Oliver is doing stand-up to pay his production teams.
Yeah. You can
Great.
do that.
Great.
John
They're
Oliver.
also on HBO. HBO can just pay him.
HBO could pay them.
HBO could just pay him.
There's no reason that John Oliver should have to be doing a stand-up tour right now. If he wants to do stand-up, that's great.
Great.
But there's no reason he should have to do this because he's not as rich as a Jimmy or a James.
Mm-hmm.
Or I guess a Seth.
Yeah?
One Seth.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But hey, I feel like we're following a theme here of people walking things back, making good choices after being deeply raked over the coals for making bad ones.
What's up, Unity fans?
Unity fans, Unity has apologized for its policy change on fee charges for installs after like a week of them being like, no, guys, it's good. No, just listen. Just listen, it's good. We promise.
So most of you gamers, what's up, gamers? Rise and Grind gamers are probably already aware of what was going on with Unity.
Yeah.
And it was basically like they wanted to change their fee structure and their pricing, and it was going to basically it seemed like it was going to price a lot of small and medium-sized devs out of using Unity.
The thing that he's always hit are the medium size. You know what I mean? Because it was like over 200,000 downloads or something else. There was
And
like
$200,000.
Yeah.
It was a $200K deal where it was like 200,000 downloads and $200,000 of income.
Which, to pay a whole game studio, again, is not a lot.
Right.
So
and
it's
this
not
is
a
on
high
top of
level.
Yeah. So they wanted 20 cents per install. And this is on top of, remember, every developer is paying $2,000 a seat to use Unity Pro if you're on like a medium or large size studio. But you know, it's interesting, having spoken to some people that work at Unity over this last weekend, and not people who are in executive or sales or anything like that. I don't talk to anybody with money as a rule. If you have money, touch money, deal with money, know what money looks like, generally you don't want to associate with me and I don't want to associate with you.
I will take your money, though.
I will take it from you.
Yes.
I won't know the difference between real money and play money because once again, bleh.
We have run into that as a problem. Anthony did accept Monopoly money for a sponsorship previously, and
It was pink, and I thought Saige would like it more than the regular green money.
and that was very, very kind of you.
Thank you. So basically, I talked to some people from Unity this weekend, and honestly, what it sounds like to me is what happened with the D&D community guidelines earlier, where they thought that by wording this in a way that was like vague, that they were doing it in a way where they would only enforce it against the largest people that were making the most money off of this. But because they worded it vaguely, they actually removed protections from the small and medium, and they were like, no. We mean to keep protecting you and just charge the people who are making crazy money. And it's like, yeah, but we're not buddies.
Yeah.
You're a company, and the way legal and money things work is you spell them out, motherfucker.
Companies are not your friend.
We don't trust you. Spell it out.
Yep.
And I think that's where they got into trouble. And that's a generous read of the situation, but it is coming from Unity employees who also hated what they had to go through over the last couple weeks.
So the post from Unity yesterday was, "We have heard you. We apologize for the confusion and angst the runtime fee policy." Okay, that we announced on Tuesday. We apologize for the confusion and angst that the runtime fee policy we announced on Tuesday caused. We are listening, talking to our team members, community, customers, and partners, and we will be making changes to the policy. We will share an update in a couple of days. Thank you for your honest and critical feedback. So we don't know what the updates are going to be, but we do know that they're going to be adjusted based on the feedback. I don't think they're going to go all the way back, though. We're going to find something that is a little clearer, is a little easier for them to enforce on large creators, and hopefully something that makes small and medium creators feel a little safer and okay.
This is, Unity has become one of the biggest engines in the games industry.
Yeah.
And their fee structure has remained basically unchanged during that growth. I don't think it is unfair of Unity to change their fees and pricing structure based on that.
Yeah, sure.
However, you know, like I don't see them walking this back to the point where it's like, we're not going to do much. They're still going to do a lot.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting. And this statement definitely isn't a good statement for me, saying we apologize for the confusion and angst. Angst. Not like anguish. Angst.
Angst is interesting because it implies that you are apologizing for an emotional reaction and not a literal bad decision that you made that's empirically and contractually wrong.
Right. So what they said was, we apologize for the confusion. They're saying, we weren't wrong. We're sorry that you misunderstood it, though.
Right.
And we're going to adjust so that you understand it better, is what that kind of comes across as to me.
We're sorry we hit you in the fees. We just
Yeah.
wanted to hit you in the fees, singular.
Hey.
Hey, oh, wait,
I don't know.
oh.
I just feel like calling it angst is very like weird and diminishing.
Angst is like you're talking to your teenage kid
Yeah.
about a decision that you made for them, and you're like, I understand that made you feel bad, but as your parent, it was the right decision. I will make an exception this time.
Yeah.
But know that I am the adult that knows better than you.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. But you remember that Watsy stumbled through a similar thing. And it really does feel kind of, it feels not one-to-one, but as soon as I wrapped my head around that, I was like, okay, I see what's going on here. Unity has a leg to stand on in this, in that they are a huge engine now. They are going through a surge of popularity like they have never had. They're also doing a lot like to go up against Unity in other industries as well. And so they need new licensing for that, right? Like they bought a huge percentage of Weta. Like they want to go into virtual production. They want to go into real-time production and stuff. Like in order to do that, they are going to need to change these fees. So I understand that.
Right.
But it also feels like Wizards in that we're not going to tell you much, and we know that we're doing it right, and we're sorry that you feel like we did it wrong.
I don't think that that's an honest comparison.
Okay.
I don't think that that's how it was handled. I think Unity's statement is much, much more diminishing to it in that. And I do think that there is less misunderstanding in the Unity issue.
Yeah.
I think that there is a clearer understanding of what Unity was trying to do, and it's fair to disagree with that.
Yeah.
I think the problem inherently was a lot of people are drawing the comparison of the OGL when inherently the OGL was fundamentally a problem of misunderstanding, layered on top of a bunch of other issues from all sides. And like corporate issues, sure, but like community based, we need to not do the same thing to Unity and not gather around to the point where we're screaming bullshit at each other and actually understand the issue.
Oh, sure. Sure. I don't want to imply that the community has had a similar reaction or that the community should have a similar reaction.
I don't think that the companies responded similarly. I
okay.
don't think that they did in any way.
That's fair.
I think that there is valid criticism, but I don't think that these are comparable statements. And I think saying something like, we're sorry we caused confusion and angst is like diminishing to a degree that like we've not seen.
Yeah. I don't know that first. I remember that first statement from Watsy, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but I remember that first statement being like wild to people. But I also don't remember what it was, so I'm just remembering my
really
feelings
upset.
about it.
Mostly people remember. Mostly we all remember how people responded is the problem, and that does paint it a little bit differently.
And it's also a difference of like you're saying, one was a contract between a company and a community. And this one is between like a business and the business's clients.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think is very interesting about this, when I spoke to the people that I spoke to, is like they had the same questions that we had, and internally those questions were like, yeah, of course that means we're not going to enforce it. The things like, how do you enforce an install? How do you are you installing DRM? Are you doing this? And it's like, internally, I think they thought, no, of course we can't do that. We're just going to have to get bookkeeping and stuff from larger companies, and we won't pursue smaller companies. And it's like, but you did not say that.
That's a lot of trust and faith you're asking smaller companies to have in you. And in addition to that, I do want to point out, Alex kindly looked up the actual definition of the word angst, and it was persistent worry about something trivial.
Yeah. It's teen angst is that's what I think about.
We know the colloquial use of it.
Yeah.
That's what I think about too. But like by definition,
yeah. When I think about angst, and that's the reason it's always applied to like teenage problems. Is like, no, buddy, this doesn't matter in the course of things.
That's why I'm like, we can't compare this to shit.
Yeah.
You called devs worrying about like losing their ability to make games.
Yeah.
To make games. Trivial. Whoa.
Hey, Slugger, I'm sorry. Why don't we go out for an ice cream and I'll still keep this weird contract in place?
Whoa,
But
I'm
ice
very
cream.
curious to see what happens next. And of course, we will keep you updated as supposedly sometime next week there should be an update to it.
The amount of people that I saw and the quickness
Mm-hmm.
with which I saw people going, well, we're already looking into what it's going to cost to move over to Unity, move over to Godot, move over to other engines, build our own tech in-house.
Over to Unreal, you mean?
Over to Unreal, build our own tech in-house, all of this stuff, like the quickness with which people did this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's basically like you gave a bunch of engineers an engineering problem to solve,
Yeah.
and they immediately set about solving it.
Yeah.
So it'll be very interesting to see how quickly Unity responds and what that response is, because it's one of those deals where, like, look, it's not the easiest thing in the world to change a project that's already in play to a new engine. It's actually an incredibly complicated thing. But people who are just starting or who are in pre-pro and are already looking at different engines because of this,
That have one very successful game
Yeah.
and have
you've
a
got to
few more.
get them to go back to Unity after
Yeah.
like considering and looking at these other engines and
Yeah.
seeing if they were better.
People were giving the Cult of the Lamb devs a hard time because they made like a tweet that was like delisting Cult of the Lamb on January 1st. And then they were like, we're not really going to delist Cult of the Lamb.
Yeah.
And they were like, I don't know, the community was kind of like cowards. And I'm like, no one's going to delist their most popular game.
Right.
Because
also,
it's on an engine that's charging them money. Like they can't, they won't.
call them cowards if you want, but also if you logged on to Steam one day and Cult of the Lamb was gone
How
and you paid
pissed.
for it,
How fucking pissed would you all be?
like it's cool to be like, no, do it, cowards, until you go, I paid $20.
Yeah.
Also, Devolver would have some things to say about that.
Right. And they were like, guys, we were goofing. We were, talking about the situation that impacts us.
Yeah. And also,
Chill out.
yeah. And sorry, Rich Bad at Game is like, also anybody who follows that developer, like it's one of those things where it was obviously a goof if you followed the
Yes.
developer. And if you didn't, it looked like a real statement, but come on,
Yeah.
it was a goof.
Infinite Corp said, can't you still play it if you bought it? Well, it depends on the way that they go about it. And if, in theory, Unity was charging per install, it would probably prevent new installs.
Yeah. So if you had it
If
installed,
they really wanted to do that.
if you had it installed already and it was delisted,
But no new devices.
you're usually okay. But if
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
just in your library and you went to install it and it was gone, is the situation that I was talking about. But also, it's all based on goofs, so don't worry about that
It's just
situation.
goofs.
It's just
It's just
goofs.
goofs.
We're just goofing. Like when Drew Barrymore says that she's going to bring her show back
Yeah, she's just goofing.
because it's a journalistic news show. We forgot to touch on that. She said it was a journalistic news show. And so it was okay.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Yeah, all right.
All right, Drew.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, let's talk about more video games.
Let's do it. Let's talk about the one video game, Mortal Kombat 1.
I thought you were going to go somewhere else with that when you said the one video game.
Nope. Mortal Kombat 1.
Mortal
Get it?
Kombat 1. Yeah, I get it.
Now, MK1
Yeah.
is a $70 video game. Across
Yes.
the board.
Yeah.
Across the board, no matter what you get it on.
Sure.
It's available on Switch. A lot of the time, games like this don't come to the Switch. People were pretty excited to be able to play Mortal Kombat on their Switch.
Yeah.
Wow. People are less excited now that they have played Mortal Kombat on their Switch.
Yeah. We love when people make the sometimes Herculean effort to bring a game to the Switch.
Yeah.
But that's when the effort is indeed Herculean.
Right.
If we are to look at this Mortal Kombat 1 footage for the Nintendo Switch video game console, I think you will find they did not put the effort in.
No. There's a clip from it right there that you can see side by side. On the left is, I think it was PS5, I want to say, and the right was Switch. And you can see the difference between the two for sure.
Yeah.
You can see like a little bit of a difference.
Yeah,
Will you put that one in the run of show?
Yeah, what's a run of show? What's a run of
I
show?
don't even say the word. I didn't even say the word. I didn't say the spreadsheet.
I don't know what anything
I didn't
is.
say spreadsheet.
I don't know anything about anything. I put it in.
It does. It looks like an N64 version, and that's so very, very
This
funny.
this is like somebody wanted to make a demake. This is like if you saw a fan-made demake. What if
yeah.
Mortal Kombat 1 was on the N64?
Right.
We're doing it in the style of MK Ultimate for the N64.
It's absolutely wild. This video of it is bananas. It's like the first one in this article.
Yeah.
This is Roger on Twitter, Raji Roger on Twitter, but I don't know if this is their original video. Let's find out.
I don't know, but
No, this is from Johnny Bo on TikTok.
I just want to show just the first image in this Dexerto article.
Yeah, we already saw it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just can we bring it back up again?
Yeah?
Can we just look at this for a moment and just really take it in? The difference between the Switch and the PS5 in this case. Yeah. Alex, can we just command plus that until it fills our eyeballs, please? Please, just a command plus.
It's a control.
I'm sorry, that's a control plus, but there it
Please.
is. There it is. That's Mortal Kombat 1.
That's Mortal Kombat. Now, not to be confused for the first Mortal Kombat game, which it looks like. That's the brand new Mortal Kombat 1.
That's very good. That's very good. I actually, Saige, want to only play this version now.
I think it's so funny. As somebody who doesn't super enjoy the like graphic grossness of Mortal Kombat these days, I think this is hilarious.
Can I just point out some Rich Baddock game called the Johnny Cage on the left said influencer teeth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are definitely influencer teeth.
100%.
Somebody
They're all
has-
little copy and pasted teeth.
Yeah, somebody has run the has run the whitener and turned it all the way up.
Yeah.
You know?
Uh-huh.
Woof. This is not great.
No, it doesn't look, I wouldn't say it looks good. God, this is so funny. God, this is so funny.
The tweet that just said the MK Switch version is disrespectful. It truly is.
It's really bad, bro.
There's something about those two Johnny Cages sitting next to each other in that disrespectful tweet.
Yeah.
That's like, the one on the right is giving me, what is the name of the disgraced host of To Catch a Predator?
Oh,
5 bonus points to
Hanson.
anybody. Hanson.
Chris
The
Hanson.
one on the right is giving me like they made a To Catch a Predator PS2 game. It
Am I right?
looks
Is
like
is it
it
Chris
looks like you're
Hansen?
playing
Yeah, Chris Hansen.
It looks like you're playing a mini game in which you're asking someone to take a seat.
What was he disgraced for?
He got really weird about stuff. He went on YouTube and started
That's
doing his
right.
show on
He started
YouTube.
doing his stuff on YouTube, and then he became like leading a weird charge against Onision, who deserved it, mind
Right.
you. Onision is a monster. I want to be very clear about that. But then he like got a little attention on the internet and got real weird about it. That's right.
Yeah, and he started causing internet beef. And everybody was like, Chris Hansen, we don't care about your internet beef.
You're Chris Hansen.
That's so
Stop.
weird of you.
Don't do that. You're Chris Hansen. That's weird.
Yeah, and he did some weird like privacy invasion stuff and all kinds of like, he went on the internet and got weird.
Okay.
He went
all
on the
right.
internet and just got weird. Alex, if we can quantify how he got weird, that's fine. If we can't quantify how he got weird, I'm 65% sure that Chris Hansen got on the internet and got weird. And so we can roll with that. But I do also now want a PS2 version of To Catch a Predator.
Yeah.
I
Sit
sort
down.
of do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you
I
got
did pat my leg as if Chris Hansen would walk into the room
And ask the
invite
Predator
these
to
men
sit on his
to
lap.
sit on his lap. Sit down.
That's why he got canceled.
Yeah.
Because it's like, Chris Hansen, you can't ask the Predators to sit on your lap. That's
Hey,
an Uno reverse card, Chris Hansen.
Did you bring beer over for this teenage girl? Sit down.
Sit down. I brought beer over for you. Now sit on my lap. Is what Chris Hansen said.
Oh, he was trying to meet underage girls, apparently.
Chris Hansen was?
Yeah?
No.
It was an Uno reverse card situation.
It wasn't Uno reversed. Wait.
I
That
read it
might
wrong.
be.
I read
That's
it
a
wrong.
big one. We
We're
want to know if we read
63%.
that
We're
wrong.
63%.
He did have an arrest warrant. but it was not for that.
Okay.
He was presenting video charging other men who were trying to.
Okay. Clarified.
But he did have an arrest warrant.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think he was causing beef with other like catching predator channels on YouTube.
Interesting.
And he was trying to like start beef with them and like wound up I think like doxing or somebody from another channel.
I'm pretty sure it all started with Onision. Chris Hanson walked into the room, said, "Onision,
Onion,
sit down.
Onion boy, please come sit right
I do
here."
hate even saying that guy's name.
Yeah. Gregory Onion, please sit here on my lap. and whichever 15 people you're married to right now, have them sit on your lap until we're a matryoshka of inappropriate people sitting on each other's laps.
Jesus.
Onion Man.
Where have we gone?
Gregory Onion.
Hey, we were talking about Mortal Kombat. we were talking about Mortal Kombat.
Dagger, we were doing the double tap on our laps so much that Dagger got out of bed and was like, "Do you need me? Am I needed?"
And this is how you call me.
This is how you call the boy.
It is.
Folks, buy Mortal Kombat 1 on the Switch and on the Switch only.
Yeah.
Listen. We are the show that is always going to tell you that we want the worst version and the 1.0 of everything.
Yeah, 100%. I was looking, I got super excited because I got an article about a bunch of glitches that were happening in Starfield. Unfortunately, they were all just like ways to take advantage of the system.
Yeah, I don't want to take advantage of the system. I want the system to be broken, and that's the only time you're ever going to hear me say this.
Yeah.
This is the only situation in which I will say that statement.
Yeah.
But it is, I simply want people in Starfield to be made out of rubber. I want their leg to follow me into another room while their body stays in one place.
I want to see through their mouths.
I want my ship to have a little pet asteroid like everybody's ships have right now. I still have not gone into the Starfield. It's just sitting there. It's sitting there on my more and more expensive every month Xbox Game Pass subscription. And I simply have not gone into the Starfield yet. I even downloaded the DLSS mods for the first time I play, so I already have them ready to go. I need to go into the Starfield. That's all. But hey, there's one game that Saige actually doesn't want to stay on 1.0 and only wants updates to.
The only game that I can be consistently relied on to play, Disney Dreamlight Valley.
Now, we did not talk about this when it was released during the PlayStation State of Play, but we do need to talk about it now because it's important to Saiges and maybe to other people too. We don't know.
So important to me, but I was worried. I was like, does anyone else care about Dreamlight Valley anymore? Am I the only one still loving on the Dreamlight Valley?
I think it's Andrea Renee.
Okay.
I think it's Aaron Stevie.
I feel like that's solid.
That's a solid 3 people.
That's solid. If you only got 3 people playing your game, you're welcome.
That's a good 3 people. But if you look at this trailer that came out for the Disney Dreamlight Valley expansion, which is called Enchanting Adventures, it is a beautiful trailer. The biggest thing that they announce up top is that Belle and the Beast are in the game. But here's the thing. I think that's the least important thing in this trailer.
Yeah.
I think this is the thing in this trailer that I care the least about and everybody should care the least about.
Even though it's very cool.
It's very cool, but what we need to talk about is we need to talk about all of the Halloween stuff that has been added to the Star Path.
It's the best time of year for every video game that releases like patch updates for holidays. I will get back into every video game I've ever loved at this time of year just to go in and collect all of the Halloween. Oh yeah, make it louder actually.
I'm just actually making it louder.
Actually, what if it was louder?
I'm just trying to make it louder.
It is so exciting. They showed us some of these things. One of the first things that we see is like an Oogie Boogie set, a Jack Skellington set, a cool organ, outfits for the characters in your town. I love this. We've done very little of this leading up to this point. We previously got like Santa Merlin.
Yeah.
We've gotten like little bits here and there, but they showed Halloween costumes for other members of the Dreamlight Valley.
You can turn all your little pets into Spot.
So cute.
It's very cute. Little ghost dogs.
Yeah.
It's adorable. The most important part
Into Zero?
of this Zero, sorry. The most important part of this update, though,
To Anthony.
I think to a lot of people, is that Ursula can now leave the water and come out on land as Vanessa.
I spilled.
Yeah, because I mentioned Vanessa.
I do love Vanessa. And then seeing Vanessa in a Sally costume, really something.
Look, that's two birds with one stone. That's you got your chocolate and my peanut butter.
Yeah.
When you're telling me that you can dress Vanessa as Sally.
I think so. I think that was her in it, but it might have been.
It might have been player character.
Yeah.
But also some of the buildings and some of the things that you can add to buildings now.
Yeah.
You can add Halloween decorations to every building.
It has the big countdown clock of days till Halloween.
It's very good. You can also add the Hollywood Tower Hotel,
which is my favorite Disney ride of all time. So that's very exciting. This is great. I think this is a massive and very cool update. It's really nice to see over a year after release them still getting this big of updates.
Yeah.
That's really great.
The game is crushing. I mean, whether we know people that are still playing it right now, it is making money just fistfuls of dollars.
Yeah.
For Gameloft and Disney.
Yeah.
It is crushing.
I think it's a great game. I think that they've done a really good job with keeping it fresh. I think there's still a lot more doors in there. If you've played the game, essentially you go into your kind of like town hall center and there's different doors to go to different worlds. And you can see there are a lot more doors that are going to open up, which I'm very excited about. So this is, it's live.
It's live.
It's happening.
One of the other things that they do in this one for Halloween is you can finally find out where Mickey has hidden Minnie's body.
Yeah.
He says it in his sleep. You have to catch him when he's sleeping. You go into Mickey's house when he's asleep, and you hear him like, under the floorboards. I can hear her heart beating. Oh, boil me crackers.
Yeah, and then you have to move Mickey's house.
Yeah. And then underneath.
Yeah.
And then you have to get Goofy to dig it up.
Yeah.
Because he's the only one that'll do manual labor.
Yes.
I do like that when they show Belle in this update, when she fishes with you, she sticks her fishing pole into the ground and then sits cross-legged next to you and reads a book.
So cute.
While fishing.
So cute.
It's very adorable.
I love it.
The attention to detail in Dreamlight Valley, particularly for a Gameloft game, like...
Excellent.
No, ain't nobody here gonna say that Gameloft makes a lot of their favorite games. Gameloft makes serviceable mobile games that you play when you're bored.
Yes, however, Disney is very thoughtful with their brands, especially with like the Disney princesses. They're extremely protective over them. They're extremely thoughtful about the ways that they are represented and what they can be used in. So putting a game like this together was probably such a like massive initiative for Disney because putting all of these characters together is huge. Letting people like play and interact with them is huge, and like live in a town with them.
If Disney had allowed this much intermingling of their properties 10 years ago, we would still have Disney Infinity toys.
Yeah.
That's my hot take.
Were you a Disney Infinity Toys fan?
No, but I own all the Star Wars ones because I love the design of them.
Sure.
It's some of the best character art, I think, and some of the best like Star Wars. You can still get toys that look like the Infinity toys. They're just called Disney Toy Box. You can get them at the parks.
Okay.
And they still have a set of like Star Wars ones. The Disney Infinity Kylo Ren is absolutely my favorite Kylo Ren figure. He's just like mean mugging, and he's got like, he's so good.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
It's like simultaneously cute and tough.
Yeah, it's very, very good.
It's like, oh, he's so tough.
Yeah, he's a tough man, and he doesn't have to go to therapy.
Yeah.
No, his daddy issues are not his problem. They're everybody else's problem.
They're kind of grandpa issues.
Daddy and grandpa, yeah.
Yeah.
But both issues.
Yeah.
Hey.
Uncle issues.
Every issue that you could have.
Yeah.
He's got.
A complicated family dynamic.
Complicated family dynamic for sure. But there you go. If you're a Dreamlight Valley person, now's the time to jump on. You know what else it's time to jump on to?
What?
Marvel's Avengers. You got to jump on now.
Now's a really good time.
Now's the time. Like, if you're going to play a game right now, oof, Marvel's Avengers is the one.
In fact, now is the last time.
Marvel's Avengers is on a very, very deep sale right now for the last time before delisting. Basically, right now, it's It's $4.
It is 90% off on Steam to be on sale one more time before being delisted. Now, in talking about delisting earlier, just once again, if you do have Marvel's Avengers, you will be able to continue doing so, but it will be delisted for future purchases. And you probably, I don't think multiplayer will function.
No, all of the online stuff is going away,
Yeah.
which was the big, I mean, it was supposed to be the big thing about Avengers. Nobody liked it.
Yeah.
Nobody liked it except for Greg Miller. And we know that his tastes are questionable at best. So yeah, you can play the single player campaign, which honestly is a decent story. So if you want to pay $4 and play through the campaign, you can, and it's not that bad.
This take from PC Gamer is brutal. Is it worth spending $4 on? Well, sort of. There's more to it, but just like, damn. Like, damn.
Yeah,
Like, sort of worth $4.
I told you, I own 3 copies of this game.
Yeah.
At one point, they were simply just like giving the game to anybody who bought anything else at all.
It's the same thing you came across with your Google Stadia.
Yes, although I did buy one of them.
Right. You didn't buy any Avengers.
I didn't buy any copies of
Yeah.
Marvel's Avengers, but I wound up with 3 copies of Marvel's Avengers.
Very, very interesting. So yeah, it's on sale if you did want to pick it up and you were like, okay, well, I thought about trying it, but unfortunately it had been, recommended against it. This is a good question. Jock Raba in the live studio audience said, is Spider-Man still PlayStation exclusive?
Yes, up until the end.
Yeah.
Right up until the end.
You still can't get it.
If you want to buy it for $4, I don't know if it's $4 on PlayStation, but if you want to play Spider-Man, and here's what I'll tell you, you don't. People were
Just play the
really
Spider-Man game.
People were really waiting for Spider-Man, and the Spider-Man gameplay in Marvel's Avengers is bad. And it's bad because we have good Spider-Man games to compare it to.
It's the comparison that's death. When you have Spider-Man, you have Spider-Man 2 now, you have Miles Morales, like it's very, very hard when you're like, but I have all this good Spider-Man to play.
And then you just
and
have like,
it seems like somebody figured out how to do Spider-Man really well. Why couldn't you?
it's just this weird, awkward playing Spider-Man. The swinging is bad. Like it's not great.
Caustic Armadillo said, do the characters still look like they bought the cheapest superhero suits on Wish? Yes.
Yeah, it's great.
Changed.
It's great value Avengers.
Yeah.
It's Leg Avenue Avengers.
Yeah.
You know, and I think
Party City Avengers.
yeah, is that part of the charm?
No.
No, but you could convince yourself of that if you wanted to.
For $4, I could convince myself of almost anything.
Captain America in that game just looks like somebody's dad who used to play high school football.
100%.
Where you can tell he used to be like a really strong, really like hot dude.
Yeah.
And now he's just like a good dad with like kind of a dad bod.
Yeah.
And that's what Cap looks like in that game.
And you know, that's it.
Hey, there you go.
And you know,
So
he does look a little bit like a cop.
does.
I can't agree with Fraud Money.
But Captain America always looks a little bit like a cop.
Captain America sometimes kind of is a cop.
Yeah.
Sometimes not.
Sometimes
and
not.
In Origin, shouldn't be.
Right.
But sometimes they do portray him a bit like a cop.
Hey,
And that's the worst Cap.
Mark Wade.
Cap, not cop.
Thanks for undoing that cop shit.
Yeah.
We really appreciate the work of Mark Wade back in the day, undoing the cop shit.
Caps, not cops.
Caps, not cops, baby. Hey, talking about the big Spider-Man games.
Yeah.
A lot of the tech stuff about Spider-Man has been talked about quite a bit since State of Play last week.
Of course.
And one of the big things that they announced is no matter what mode you choose graphically, whether you choose performance mode, whether you choose graphic mode, whatever they call it, ray tracing's turned on for every mode for Spider-Man 2.
Do you think that people are going to run into problems with that? No?
I don't think so at all.
Like on lower powered machines?
I mean, it's only coming out on PS5.
Oh, that's true. It's a PS5 exclusive.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
it
trying
may come
think
to
of it on
PC eventually.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of it on PC.
No, I mean,
But yeah.
I think what you're thinking of is like the last one straddled PS4 and PS5.
Yeah.
And this one's just PS5 only.
Yeah, which, you're all playing on the same machine at that point.
Yeah, and they're also like, hey, we learned a lot since the remake and since Miles Morales. Like, we're just getting better and better at using this machine.
Yeah.
So you can play it at 60 FPS with ray tracing.
Right.
That's great.
That's rad.
I would rather have 60 FPS ray tracing 1080p than 4K 30 ray tracing.
Yeah.
I love just 60 FPS for Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's beautiful. So I'm really excited about this. They also talked about a lot of things that they've been doing with the 3D audio. They said if you have surround sound or a good headset when you play this Spider-Man, like they've learned tons since the first game, and it's gonna really like they've really been working on the immersive sound. They talked about some stuff they did with the DualSense 5, but I don't care about controller shit.
No, not at all.
If I'm honest, like for the first couple months, it was kind of interesting to me every time the trigger like resisted my pushing of it.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, that's cool.
Ooh, that's kind of
I
interesting.
can sort of feel how hard
Yeah.
this is for the character to do. And now I'm like, that's fine.
Over it?
Yeah, I don't really care if it's there.
Do you feel like you've just gotten used to it, or do you feel like you're not particularly enjoying it?
Maybe a little of both. I think it is something that is mostly novelty.
Okay.
There are things that it can communicate that are very good.
Yeah.
You know, if it's harder to push down the trigger, so it's harder for your character to do something, like that's a good little bit of communication. But it's not like an ooh-ah thing that I need, or that if it went away, I wouldn't notice.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, I like that they're doing all these things. I like that it's going to be better than, technically better than the first one.
Yeah, I think it's neat.
And everybody who went to the preview events had wonderful, wonderful things to say about it. Our friend Tim Geddes went to the preview event and had wonderful things to say about
Oh
Spider-Man
yeah, I
2.
haven't gotten to watch Tim's take on it
Yeah,
yet.
check that out. Not right now. Right now you're watching us.
Yeah,
but
goodness.
Eventually check that out because it's great.
Um,
Check out anything on that channel except for like anything where Greg's there.
I'm not part of this. Don't wrap me into this.
Ugh, Greg.
You can watch the screencast with us on Wednesdays.
Yeah. Greg's not there.
We're there.
Yeah.
Mostly watch things we're in, is what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Anthony. Are you excited for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth?
No.
I knew what the answer was going to be.
No,
I knew
absolutely
it was
not.
going to be.
Hey.
What if I told you that it was huge?
No.
That it was the biggest birth?
That sounds
That it
bigger
was
than
the biggest rebirth?
bigger than like octuplets?
That it was that it is creating the biggest game.
The biggest of all the games?
Yeah.
Are you
Ever.
saying that, or is Square saying that?
They're saying it's the biggest game ever.
Are
What
you-
would it take to get Anthony excited about
Are you
Final
just
Fantasy?
trying to get me excited about this game?
What would it take to get Anthony excited about Final Fantasy? It's not a big game. Anthony doesn't like big games. I also know that.
Well, I like big games of a certain kind.
and I
but-
cannot lie.
Yeah, and the other brothers, they can't deny it. Look, Final Fantasy VII.
Uh-huh.
And I'm gonna look down the barrel of the lens as I say this.
Uh-oh.
Is not good. Ooh. It's not good. It was an influential game. It was a technically impressive game. Final Fantasy IX is a much better Final Fantasy VII. And honestly, Final Fantasy VII, whether it's 7 or 9, is not the best kind of Final Fantasy.
Anthony,
Yeah.
our Patreon clip this week was giggling at songs that were taken off the radio after 9/11, but
Yeah, that's
this
right.
is going to be the thing that gets us canceled.
Listen, I have done panels about this at PAX.
I know.
I have done live debates about this.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII, and I've won every time. Final Fantasy VII,
There's no winning. It's
Is per-
opinion.
you can win a debate. That's what they're for, Saige. That's the whole point of a structured debate. I think, and here's the thing. Even talking to Final Fantasy VII fans that I know, some people that are diehard fans are actually turned off by the fact that it's telling a different story. It's telling a very different story.
Yeah.
They called it remake as sort of like a fake out, where it's partially the same story, but then huge things are different. So in that way, I even feel like it's lost its historical value of remaking this influential game in a way that is for the current generation of gamers, wake up gamers, rise and grind. So I'm not particularly interested in it. I thought it was a beautiful game.
Yeah.
I thought it was absolutely gorgeous. I thought some of the decisions they made in it were very interesting.
Uh-huh.
I love to fight a house. I think maybe if they said Rebirth had 10 times as many weird houses to fight,
Okay.
maybe I'd get into it then.
Well, let me tell you what they actually are saying.
What are they saying?
They're saying Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is about 3 times larger than the Final Fantasy VII remake. They're saying it's at almost 100 hours, whereas the just 7 remake is about 30.
Yeah, 2 discs for the physical, right? They said it's 2 discs, I think. If I'm not interested in a game, telling me that it's 3.5 times more game makes my tummy hurt.
I enjoy the Final Fantasy world, so I
Yes.
think that this is kind of appealing to me. I also am overwhelmed by games that are too big. If I just feel like there's no feasible way I could ever finish it, a lot of the time that turns me off of starting it. I don't know what part of my brain that hits in the wrong place, what type of neurodivergency is like, well, you're just telling me I can't finish it. Why would I start it?
Yeah.
But they say while the main storyline is bigger and more ambitious than the previous game's narrative, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth also embraces the concept of free exploration with compelling stories, fun minigames, powerful monsters, and so much more to find throughout the world map. As somebody who, and this is a different way of Final Fantasy fans getting mad at us, as someone who's only played Final Fantasy XIV, I like the idea of open world in the Final Fantasy setting. So that's kind of fun to me.
Sure. Then let me introduce you to Final Fantasy 15 Magical Car Boys on a Road Trip.
I knew you would have to bring up every time we talk about Final Fantasy.
Magical Car Boy Road Trip.
Is that an open world?
Yeah. You can just run around on it. You can do whatever you want. There's nothing there. But it's open.
Yeah.
It's open. You can run across the vast grasslands of nothing for as long as you want.
Yeah.
You can even ride a chocobo on it if you want to. You don't.
No?
No, but it's a good game.
Why don't I?
You don't want to. It's boring.
Really?
Yeah, get in the
Very
car.
fun. It's very fun in
That's
14.
why they give you a nice car.
It's fun in 14.
Drive around it.
There's no ladies whatsoever? Toxless?
There are no ladies in your party. It's the boys are on a road trip. The boys are in the house.
I'm out.
The boys are in the house, and they are taking on toxic masculinity, and they are just good magical car boys.
That's cool and all.
Yeah, probably not for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
I love when there are women.
Sure. I mean, there are women. They're not in your party.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Then let me introduce you to the best Final Fantasy game, Final Fantasy X-2. All ladies, all the time. Some of them are pop stars. You level up by buying new outfits. And they're all good outfits.
Yeah.
That's best Final Fantasy.
Stellar Sorcerer says that you get 2 temporary female party members at different points.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Temporary women.
Yeah, Gladio's little sister runs around with you for a little while.
Oh, I love when the women are expendable to the story and
Yeah.
they just kind of come and go.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
wow. It's like, again, it's trying to sell me on it when it's like, oh, well, they're here, they're just not in your party. Imagine going to a house party at someone's house and looking around and going, uh-oh.
Oh, we
there
know
are
women,
no
they're just not
women
here. Yeah.
There are, don't worry, women
No.
exist, but
Yeah.
there are no women here.
No, women exist. They're close by. Some of
leave-
them came to the door and we said, no, thank you.
I would leave that party. So I will also not be joining this party.
We allowed the women to come to the door to deliver snacks.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen. It's fine. It's Final Fantasy VII. I do want to run around in the open world of Final Fantasy VII. I am interested in that because I do truly love the visual and environment design in the Final Fantasy remake.
Yeah.
It's one of the most beautiful games ever, which it had to be because it was remaking one of the games that was considered at the time one of the most beautiful
Which is
games
very funny
ever.
to look back on, but yeah.
So I do kind of want to see, I want to kind of run around in it. I'll watch people play it, and then when it comes to PlayStation Plus, I will download it.
Okay.
And I will run around in it.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think was interesting about it is they did say that your save from Remake does not transfer over.
That is true.
They're all different games.
Yeah.
So it's like, you don't have to play Remake to play Rebirth, but also everything you did in Remake doesn't matter. Sorry.
It's okay to make different games.
Sorry.
It's okay to make different
I
games.
know, but it's all supposed to
I'm
tell
fine with
one
it.
long story. And I guess, I don't know, there were never tons of choices that you could make.
Yeah, I haven't played the game, so I don't have enough context of how important that would be or how like you would feel about not transferring it over, how attached you should be to that.
Yeah.
So sorry to everyone who doesn't get that. And
This weekend, while I was at this same event where I was talking to Unity people and I said, "What's up, Unity lovers?" I I ran into a friend of mine who is one of the biggest Final Fantasy fans, and she said, she was like, which Final Fantasy characters do you think wash their ass? And as I was thinking about it, it's like, it's easier to name the ones, like there are so few Final Fantasy protagonists that I think properly wash themselves.
Yeah.
It's easier to name the ones that you do think wash themselves properly.
Wow.
And but here's the thing. I think all the car boys properly wash their asses.
Okay.
I think you can say that about the car boys.
I have nothing to add to this.
Cloud does not. Absolutely not. Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII does not properly wash his ass.
Weigh in the comments.
Vincent Valentine does
Okay.
from Final Fantasy VII.
I once again have nothing here for you.
No version of Sid Highwind has ever washed their ass. You can look that up, Alex. Can we verify that?
Yes, verifying.
Verifying that they've never washed their ass.
Confirmed.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of people who don't wash their asses,
Yeah.
there are a bunch of people that were really upset about having to choose pronouns in Starfield. That's a story from a little while ago. And a bunch of absolute piss babies just simply could not handle the idea of participating in grammar or English language, or anyone else feeling included when it should be only for them. Only for the pissy little he-hims. And you know it. And
yeah,
you know it.
no,
and
that's-
occasionally, a pissy little she-her. I'm not going to say we're exempt.
But mostly we know. But the thing that I took about this, and we talked about this a little bit, was just I was mostly just 100% perplexed.
Yeah.
Because in a game where the character creation really does allow you to look like anything. This is, Starfield could be in an episode of Monster Factory,
Yep.
What does it matter if you just are like, this is what this person looks like, and this is how they perceive themselves? What is the problem? This is how they perceive themselves and how they would like to be perceived.
Yeah.
What is the problem
where
with that?
you can do so many things
Yeah.
to modify your appearance and to look and present however you choose to. The thing is, it's not a problem with that. And we all know that it's not a problem
with it.
What it actually is just bigotry. It is inherently saying, well, I don't want people to feel included in this game. I don't want to exist in a community that embraces, gender diversity, essentially, is what they're saying. It is never actually the issue of them having to deal with it. It is specifically to make people feel excluded, and they are furious by the idea that in what they consider to be their spaces, which is like angry cishet white men,
Yep.
that anyone else feels welcomed in it. And it's deeply rooted in misogyny, homophobia, transphobia. Often ties back also to racism. They hate when they have to play anything other than a white man, and even when they don't have to, they hate that someone even has a choice to.
Can you imagine what these people would do, the meltdown they would have if English was gendered like other languages and they found out they had to sit on a chair that was a boy?
Right. The sun is gendered. Yeah.
Sitting on a boy? Ugh. Not for me. No way.
No.
No one's going to trick me into sitting on a boy. Onion Man.
Yeah.
Onion Man. I sit on a boy and then boys sit on me. Come here.
I'm a boy chair.
Oh, Dagger got back up.
So the reason that this is back in the news, obviously this was news
I'm
a few
not
weeks ago when
sticking a boy
Starfield.
spoon in my mouth. I only eat soup with fork now because fork is lady.
Yeah. Anyways, the reason this is back in the news is because one of these many piss babies made a mod to remove pronouns from the game, which is so funny because they didn't actually remove pronouns from the game.
No.
There's going to be pronouns used all throughout the game.
Yeah,
they just removed your ability to select them in the beginning.
Hey, in the very beginning, like one of the first, like you are talking to a room full of people. Hey, where did she go? What is he doing? What are they? Pronouns are everywhere. Sometimes the fork is a lady. Like, they did not remove pronouns.
No, of course not. So it removed the option to select your character's pronouns.
Now, wait, does that mean Does that mean that every character in this mod, no matter what, is a he, him?
So that's what I'm saying. So what does that mean when I do it?
Mod not for you.
Oh, that's right. Women aren't allowed to play the
Mod
games.
not for you.
Yeah, that's right.
You're not in the party. You can drop off snacks.
Yeah. So the reason
Also,
that
you
we're
can't
talking
walk
about
through the door
this-
because the door is male. And then
can't
you
be walking all over a man.
And well, the second you walk through a man, you are no longer marriageable.
So I swear I'll get to the reason we're talking about this someday. The biggest mod site in the world that exists has removed it. Nexus Mods removed it because what the fuck, you guys? We're not hosting that, basically.
Yeah, they basically just said nah. And
They were like, we don't have to host your mod that is weird and bigoted, and it's been removed. And as you can imagine, Piss Baby's so pissy about it.
yeah, Piss Baby 87, who created the mod, Piss Baby 87 was like, "This is what are you doing?" And support wrote back, and they were like, "Here's how to delete your account.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, we don't have to put any mod, support any mod that removes or limits diversity.
Yep.
Here's how to delete your account."
Yep.
That was the response, and it's a great response.
Previously, Nexus has removed mods like ones that replace pride flags in the SpiderMan remaster.
Yep.
They temporarily banned U.S. political mods during the 2020 election.
Ooh, over the last couple weeks, they've had some problems with, I don't know if you saw this.
Yeah.
There was a mod to make Will in Baldur's Gate white.
Jesus fucking Christ.
People simply just wanted Will to be white. Can't imagine why. And so then somebody in response put a mod up that turned all the characters black.
Great.
and both mods, of course, got removed. But it was like, what purpose does this serve? Explain yourself, coward. Explain yourself to support. Tell us why we should leave this mod up, coward.
People are fucking wild. I don't know, man. I'm very glad to see it go. Obviously, they've said that they feel very sure of their choice, especially in like the vitriol and hatred they have received from horrible bigots since doing so. They were like, we're not sad to see these people go. We did the right thing. That shows us we did the right thing.
We're literally a site that provides free mods to PC games.
Yeah.
We can get DMCA'd and do get DMCA'd 8 times a day. We don't have time to deal with your bullshit.
Yeah.
There's no money in dealing with
We
your
have
bullshit.
nothing to lose.
Literally. Sorry.
Yeah. God, it is so wild. It is so absolutely fucking odd to watch the pronoun debate continue.
The truly wild thing about this mod, too, is that it just made your pronouns they, them. It just forced you to have they, them pronouns.
Wait, did it really?
Yes.
Wait, did it turn everyone in Starfield into a non-binary king or queen?
It removed
Royalty.
the he, him, and she, her options, so everyone, it just defaults you to they, them. So it makes everyone who downloads the mod non-binary.
It's just a non-binary emperors.
Yeah. No pronouns, except it's like just neo-pronoun, no pronouns.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
It's hysterical.
Oh my God. Yeah, Chaotic Groovy also said that the mod didn't work and then everyone freaked out about having they, them pronouns after getting the mod.
I love what I'd like to think. I would love to take the 4D chess route and think that somebody was
trolling.
like, here you go. This will make it so you don't have to pick pronouns. And then it made you accept they, them into society and your life.
Look, it's the thing we'll always come back to where it's like the sheer amount of people that are making active arguments in a Twitter thread about not wanting to use pronouns while continually using pronouns, even they, them pronouns specifically when referring to people is fucking bananas. They'll be like, I don't want to be counted as, I don't want pronouns. I don't want to be one of them. And you're like, you said one right there. You said it right there. It's the opposite of something that never gets old.
Yeah.
It was old before it began.
Yeah, it's Benjamin Buttoning, really.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's
it's Merlining. It's just it's not okay. So yeah, thank you to Nexus Mods for continuing to be this way.
Yeah.
And hey, fuck you to everybody who tries to do mods like that. Just absolutely, just get wrecked. Eat in a country where the spoons are gendered.
They do talk in this PC Gamer article about the paradox of tolerance, which is very interesting because you know that like everybody who was like, well, by removing this, you're discriminating against me.
No.
Which is like literally not what that means in any capacity. But it's a thing that we talk about here in our communities a lot as well, which is like a community, a platform that is tolerant of everyone is not safe or tolerant of anyone.
Of course. So, so here's my question to the people who are like, if you're removing this mod, you are discriminating against me. Isn't they them in the base Starfield game?
Yes. Yes. Well, you also know
so not only are they just the worst people, they're wrong.
Well, you know that those people hadn't even actually tried the mod.
Yeah, of course not.
They just saw something. They're probably not even playing the fucking game, a lot of them. They just saw something that they felt like backed up their fucked up belief system. And then they were like, oh, you're stomping on my freedoms by not letting me discriminate. No. You're stomping on my freedoms by not letting me be a bigot.
Yeah, no, this is once again, this is a conversation that we've had far too many times. Yeah. And just shut up. And I do like that more and more people are getting to the point where they feel just comfortable saying shut up to it.
Yeah.
Because I think that's one of the things when we talk about this paradox, one of the things that people count on is that kind people do not want to get into or just nice people don't want to get into arguments with people and they don't want to make people angry.
Yeah.
And the horrible people count on that.
Yes.
And I love that we are getting to a point where more and more of just the average person who doesn't want to be involved in this stuff is getting tired of it to the point where they're just like, shut up.
Yeah.
Just shut up.
Yeah.
We're all tired of you.
I say?
We're all over it.
I'm not too polite to hit a Nazi.
No.
It can't be.
Like, listen, like my grandfather always said, I would never hit a Nazi. I would never hit a Nazi. But if I saw you hitting a Nazi, I certainly wouldn't tell anybody. And maybe if you saw me hitting a Nazi, you wouldn't tell anybody either. But we would never, if the law is listening, we would never. Hey, speaking of people treating people horribly, can we talk about Ubisoft Montreal?
Sure. We don't have a lot of time, and there's still another thing I also want to talk about.
Okay.
So let's do it.
Let's do it. Ubisoft Montreal is making people return to work. And by return to work, they, of course, mean return to the office. People are already working.
Of course.
A lot of these people were hired and told that they would never have to work from an office.
Which we've seen a lot of post-quarantine. People saying like, okay, well, we're all going back to office, or people that were hired for remote work.
Now, we know that Ubisoft Montreal is historically bad. They have an incredibly high harassment rate. Yeah. They have an incredibly high sexism, racism, all kinds of horrible things going on within those doors. And also, they have problems with accessibility and problems just providing basic amenities that other employers provide to their employees. A lot of people took these jobs knowing that they would never have to go to the Ubisoft office. And of course, now that they can, they're turning that around. They put up a blog post that said the standard stuff about culture and cooperation and working together. And everybody's like, we already do that. What do you mean culture? You mean the culture of women getting sexually harassed at work?
And there are no, Alonzo described it well as the new CEO fad right now. There's no data to back this up. There is not a lower productivity or output from companies since the pandemic.
Productivity has only gone up. Profits have only gone up. The main reason that companies want to do this is they feel as though they are losing control over workers.
Yes.
They feel as though they have less control over people and that people are going to want more and more freedoms, and they are going to want to be treated more and more like human beings.
Yep.
And they are scared of that. Then the other backup to this is a lot of these companies have invested heavily into corporate real estate.
Yeah, and they get lots of various tax breaks for investing in real estate.
So they don't want that money going to waste, because a lot of companies, even though they make video games or they make whatever, a lot of their value is in other corporate holdings.
Yeah.
Like, they make video games, but they invested in this real estate in Montreal, which is a city that has been blowing up more and more because of tech and video games.
Yeah.
The property value of that commercial real estate has only gone up, which contributes to the value of Ubisoft. They don't want to see that value go down.
Right.
Because if that goes down, it doesn't matter how many copies of Assassin's Creed they sell if they're constantly losing a lot of money in corporate real estate. And that's all this comes down to. And the problem is they have now officially lied to these employees that have paper trails, emails, documents that say, no, you will never have to come into the office.
Yep.
A lot of people are saying, hey, I have health conditions. I have needs within the workplace.
Yep.
I have accessibility issues.
Yep.
I have emotional or neurodivergency issues.
Yeah, I mean, we know that work that can be done remotely, there are some jobs that are necessary to be in person. But work that can be done remotely, being forced to be in person, is ableist. And it's intentionally ableist. It's not passively ableist. It is an intentional effort to keep people with disabilities poor.
It's a huge issue, and I'm not shocked that Ubisoft Montreal is trying to pull it. IGN asked them for this, by the way, is by a friend of the show, the GOAT, Mazel Tov on your recent marriage, Duck Valentine. We love her. And Ubisoft's comments when she reached out were, we're asking our colleagues to come back to the office for key moments identified by each team. We're convinced that the synergy, in-person discussions, rapid iterations, and a sense of belonging that happens more in person will help us be more effective and agile together.
You know what I always found in a corporate office? A sense of belonging.
I hated being in the office. I hated it. I never felt like I belonged in the office. The office was like me and 3 other people that I got along with, and then like a bunch of other people that were trash.
Yeah. It's very interesting too, because like I sit in the group of one of the rare few who's like, I actually really enjoy working with people in person.
I do too.
I really do. It's hard because you can't choose who you work with most of the time in person, which will often ruin that experience. But when I did have my like one consistent office job and I had a team that I enjoyed, I loved it. My brand of ADHD thrives in co-working and things like that. However, that is not an enforcement of a requirement, and I will always advocate for people's right to not do so.
Yeah, and look, here's the deal. The office exists.
Yep.
Anybody who can come into the office, I'm sure, is welcome to.
Yeah.
But you cannot make something a condition of employment and then take it away.
Right. You can't, after the fact, say that that's a condition of your employment. I mean,
and a lot of companies are trying to do it right now. A lot of companies are trying to do it right now. And a lot of people are like, dude, you hired me knowing I live 3 hours from the office, or I live in another state.
Yep.
What do I do?
And they're like, ooh, guess you shouldn't have done that.
Should you move? You should probably move.
Yeah.
Are you going to move me? Also, no, I'm not going to move. And the answer is no, you're not going to move me, and I know that.
A lot of people moved out of hub cities during the quarantine portion of the pandemic. A, for their safety, B, for their families, and C, because they were working remotely and weren't commuting and were promised that they wouldn't be. So they moved out of these areas that have these offices and are living in areas that are less expensive and affording a better quality of life.
And the other thing that is interesting about that is this is a way for companies to continue controlling salaries.
Yeah.
If you work for a company that is headquartered out of Seattle, Los Angeles, New York, Montreal, a big city, right? You are offered a big city salary. And then if you don't live in that big city because you want to take advantage of a lower cost of living somewhere else, well, then the company gets mad because if you live somewhere that's cheaper, they want to pay you less.
Yep.
And so if they can enforce you going to an office, if they can enforce you having to live within an area of this hub, they can then pay you what the average is there.
I know people recently that I've had conversations with that have been in negotiations for terms for jobs that were literally said, like, if you work remotely, we will pay you less. If you come and you work in person here in Los Angeles, we will pay you more. Which is ridiculous. You have that budget for the position. Pay what you have for the fucking
What
position.
you're telling me is that you can pay somebody that much money,
Correct.
and I want that much money.
You can and you should. And somebody choosing to live elsewhere where there is a lower cost of living should not affect their salary for the same work they are doing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We don't have time to get to this last thing, and that's okay.
I'm sorry.
It's 10:36. It was just I thought this was so interesting. Katy Perry selling all of her music rights.
Yeah.
You put that in here, and I was like, what the fuck?
I thought this was very interesting as well. Maybe we have a minute. Katy Perry sold her stake in her music. Now, I believe Universal Music or Warner Music, I forget who it is, own her masters.
Yeah.
But she, of course, owns a stake in, she wrote the songs, she performed them. So she owns her portfolio and decided to sell off her rights to it for $225 million. This is everything, I believe, from 2008 to 2020.
Yeah.
So this is like her biggest 5 albums or something like that.
I think that's all of her albums.
Is that all of
Has
them?
she released something? I don't think she's released anything since
that's
2020.
right. So
I think that's all of her albums because it starts with One of the Boys. It's got Teenage Dreams. It's everything.
So one of the things that they talk about in this article, even though the article doesn't really quote Katy Perry, some of the things that they talk about is that she has not put out new music in the last few years, like you were saying. Lately, she has taken the route of being an artist who takes up like residencies.
Yeah.
And will do like 6 months in Vegas and just play her hits.
Right.
And I honestly, I think this is cool. We need to take a look at, because, all right, so there is one side of this that is the Taylor Swift side of re-record all your albums, own your music, make your money, that's yours, blah, blah, blah. And if that's what you want to do with your career, yes, you should do that. If Katy Perry says, well, maybe I'm not going to make as much new music anymore, or any new music. Maybe I just kind of want to slow down and I want to do residencies and chill and just take a huge chunk of money and back out of the spotlight a little bit.
Right.
I think that's a decision that we have to kind of like.
Yeah, because Katy Perry didn't have enough money.
No, I'm not saying that.
Oh.
I'm not saying that.
I get it. Hey, she couldn't possibly retire without that $225 million.
No, but if she doesn't want to be in the music industry anymore, and she can get that money for her stuff that she created, why not?
Yeah.
And just be like, I'm cashing out. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, she currently has a net worth predating this of $330 million.
That's pretty good. Now she has like $500 million. Plus whatever Orlando Bloom's got for those elf checks.
Yeah.
Do you think Orlando Bloom's still getting pretty big elf checks?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, I do.
He's getting elf checks and pirate checks, and they're pretty good.
They're huge, yeah.
How big do you think his Gran Turismo checks are? Did she have to sell the money because the Gran Turismo checks are not going to be good? That's the thing. They talk about how she and Orlando Bloom have both been taking like less work.
Yeah.
And like,
they're set up for life.
They're set for life already. And we have this thing with celebrities where when celebrities drop out of the public eye, we go, oh, what happened? Oh, why don't they do it? And like, we attach their value to staying in the public eye. Katy Perry was never very good at being in the public eye. She had a lot of like questionable stuff that kept popping up.
Yes.
You know,
and she's certainly staying in the public eye. I mean, she judges on a competition show. Which one is she
Was she
doing?
on The Voice? Is that the one she's on?
I don't remember if she's on The Voice or an X Factor or something
America's
like that.
Got Voice?
Yeah, something like that. One of them.
Masked Voices?
Did a Las Vegas residency, of course.
Yeah.
I just like, I don't know, man. A big company owning the rights to all music is frightening to me. I don't feel good about it. I think it is her choice to make.
Yeah.
But I do think that like the pathway of corporations owning more of music
Sure.
is a net negative for me.
No. From that perspective, absolutely.
American Idol.
From that perspective, absolutely. But from a personal perspective of, I'm done. Like, I get it. I get it. Yeah.
I just, I don't know. This weirds me out. I don't like it. I don't like the further consolidation of creative works.
No.
I don't like I don't know. It's like a thing that we come into often where it's like only women are often held accountable for like things that are considered corporate greed. So I don't want to apply that to her. But on the other hand, too, it is also like, how much money is enough money, guys? How much money is enough money?
That's fair.
How much money is enough money? What are you doing with said money? I guess that's it. You're forced to look at $225 million as a civilian and look at her $225 million and go, okay, you gonna do something?
What if she's building a plane house car?
She's probably building a plane house car. You're right.
You know what I mean? Like it's a house and
like
a car,
Mojo Dojo cost
but
a
it could
house.
fly.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let me tell you, if anybody wanted anything I owned for $225 million, they could have it.
People were asking, do we know who bought it? Litmus Music.
Litmus Music, which is which Saige is correct to say,
Yeah.
Litmus Music owns a lot.
Yeah. The Carlyle-backed company co-founded by former Capitol Records president Dan McCarroll. The company announced it. It is the stakes in her master recordings and the publishing rights for all 5 albums.
So she's given up all future royalties, all future revenue from streaming, all that stuff.
And at that point, too, you also lose your control of what they do with it.
Yeah.
Which is the concerning part for me. Previously, they bought Keith Urban's
Was
masters.
it already in a Trolls movie?
Probably.
If your music's already in a Trolls movie, that tells me you're already ready to do whatever with your music.
Yeah.
Once your music is in a Trolls movie, you've given up.
They said, we believe this is a testament to the team's ability to partner with the world's top artists.
Partner's so interesting.
How interesting.
Partner's an interesting way to say ownership.
Yeah.
An
interesting partnership. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. I'm not with it. But hey, feel free to let us know what you think of it. I do think that there's an interesting nuance to it. Thank you very much for joining us for today's show. Of course, we do the show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at exactly 9 a.m. Pacific. And if it is not 9 a.m. in your time zone when we start, fix that.
Fix it.
Whoa.
Don't ask us to fix it.
We can't do
We
that
don't
for you.
control time where you are.
We cannot do that for you.
Sorry.
Yeah, but do come back and watch the show. Do check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/Pixel Circus. Thank you very much to the people who make this show possible by doing so. You get a bonus clip from It's Too Early every single week when you do.
That's right.
Where else can they watch you on the internet, Anthony?
Oh, my stars and garters. Thank you for asking. You can find me everywhere at Carboni, except for here on Twitch where I'm at Anthony Carboni. And I have a podcast that you can listen to at wehaveconcerns.com. Saige, what about you?
You can find me everywhere on the internet at Not Saige. I stream on my channel Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, except for, I don't know, today will be a different time or something. Thank
Alex,
you.
you got any plugs?
Yeah, Alex.
Plug something, Alex.
Yeah, Alex.
Yeah. I can plug something.
Plug something, Alex.
You can find me on Saturday mornings at Total Party Kiss, where I GM a D&D campaign called Strange Hungers.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
So go
Great
watch
time.
that.
It's very fun. It's spooky. It's queer body horror. So
Ooh.
Love that. So yeah, do all those things.